Hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft-related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today, I want to talk about altar spaces, or portals, if you will, because I have a little bit of both. So I'm going to be showing you throughout the video a tour of my many different spaces that I keep as an altar. So my altars represent different purposes. However, there's going to be some overlap. It's sort of necessary because of just the way that I practice. One of the things I'll just start with and I'll explain a little bit more is, for instance, my ancestor altar. My ancestor altar is really just a place, an offering space. And it's been moved around so much because honestly, I'm still trying to come to a decision on, I don't know where it's best to be placed right now. That seems to be where I felt led to place my ancestor altar. And you'll see that momentarily. However, I don't know, I'm feeling something else, but here's the overlap. When I'm at my working altar, I petition, commune, work with my ancestors. If I have a candle for them, I would light it, prepare it, anoint it, and use it at the at the working altar. So, I can call on my ancestors during my bath ritual, for healing, which I've done. So there's overlap. I don't necessarily only do things in certain places. And if I'm being completely honest, I haven't actually put any offerings specifically where I have my designated ancestor offering and some time. I moved it recently, I moved it again, and now I'm trying it one more time at this other place. And I'm thinking maybe I don't need a designated altar because I tend to just, wherever I'm at becomes the altar. So maybe it's portable. I don't know. I'm still working that out. But that's what I meant by overlap. So I don't only do specific functions at each of these altars. Sometimes it overlaps. I do certain things, the same thing someplace else. Okay? But ideally they have a different purpose. So let's get into what the altars are. There's my outdoor altar, which I'll start with that, and that's going to be for the Fae, and all encompassing of the Fae. Remember, the Fae, when we speak of that, people think fairies, just like that, and Disney, which I like the idea of that as well. But there's other things, and also there's the Fae, and then there's elementals, which sometimes falls under that category, so I'm using that very broadly. So I live in a desert, I live in Arizona. Here in Arizona, when I think of, I basically work with the physical land around me. That's how I think first off. And then I think, okay, so what's here? What am I sensing? And those elementals, so that's gonna be like your fire elements and things like that. So salamanders, and other desert spirit, desert spirits that might be classified under the umbrella of Fae. So that type of energy, along with my actual spirit of my home itself, which extends to outside. So you'll see that I have certain things set up with that in mind, but it's everything, I would say, first off, is to honor and to revere, not worship. I don't worship. Y'all know that, right? I don't worship the Fae. I don't worship any of that. I revere, I commune, I petition, I leave offerings for, honor, that sort of thing. More relationship-wise, it's a sort of a back and forth, not just this, I'm on my knees begging for mercy, praying to. It's not that type of situation at all. Ugh, I could never. Anyway, so there's that. And then once we come back in, I have the next altar is the beauty altar. We'll get into that. One of two beauty altars. So this one is on my makeup vanity. So it's more about goddess energy, feminine, divine, and having me sort of tap into that. It's a place for me to do glamour magic. There's the other altar, I do that as well. But here, I think I do it more often. That mirror is also on my vanity is also, I can activate it as a portal. And I've been doing some really wonderful work with that. Bringing in glamour magic with my traditional type of witchcraft, leaning into maybe some esoteric things as well, and sort of conjuring up very unique spells for myself. Even the ritual of just applying makeup and when I'm getting prepared. I love specifically on the weekend when I have a lot more time, although technically in the mornings I have time. I don't know why I make it a rush effort, but like on the weekend when I take my sweet time. The goal is never to apply heavy makeup or completely transform, although that's cool sometimes, but for me it's more like, what colors do I want to use? What do they represent to me with my energy today, with what I'm trying to align with? What speaks to me? You know, I use a lot of color magic. So, and then from there, you know, what type, you know, what variation of that color, because that can mean something different. A dark blue versus a baby blue evokes different emotions. So, you know, I go a little bit, and then do we want sparkles? Are we tapping into, you know, some youthful energies, to some fun? And on the weekend, I typically do. I like to get a little glitter somewhere. So that's a place for me to do that. And also to do attraction spells, to work on basically things under the glamour magic umbrella, self-love spells for sure, love spells in general, witchy self-care, although that extends more to the other altar. And then my second beauty altar it's also my beauty bath altar, I should say that, because that's in my actual bathroom. So that's still growing, and you'll see that momentarily. But I feel really positive about that space so far. So I'm just building, and I'm only bringing in things that uniquely speak to me. So I'm waiting until the next item presents itself. I actually did a video talking about all of these things I would put on there. And when I finally looked at it, I was like, I don't want all of this here. Like I like the idea, but I want what speaks to me. So I'm slowly building. And then we'll go over the kitchen altar, which is, again, simplicity with a lot of this. It's really a designated space, not this, you know, huge production. And, you know, and then there's a couple other things I'm going to show you as well. But the working altar is the huge production, and that's where most of the magic is done, whether it's for myself or for others. So remember, as a practicing cottage witch, my whole home is a powerful place to perform spells for me, to work rituals, whether I'm sitting here, standing in my kitchen, in my dining area, the bathroom, out back, out front, in the driveway. I'm working with the energies of the home to consistently uplift, to help improve, to lend energy, to protect as well when I'm working my magic. So there's that as well. So I will get into more details on each one of these altars. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. And hopefully maybe this inspires you if you like the idea of setting up different spaces in your home to honor maybe a specific deity, the spaces themselves, ancestors and so forth. Hopefully this inspires you that you can make manageable altars. We all love those really large, I love that too. However, I also know that I can only have so many large altar spaces because I would have to maintain them all. And it's tricky when you don't, because you feel it. You feel this, the longer you go without maintaining it, dusting it off, cleaning it off, it feels like a distance. It feels like you're taking and not giving, if that makes any sense. So hopefully this kind of helps you to get a more simplistic idea about maybe altar spaces, and maybe what I show you could be something foundational and you can grow from there. All right, here we go. Fairies have an insatiable love of connection to all things natural. So, since they are nature themselves, I thought it made sense to put them low to the ground. I could easily have lifted it up. I actually have an elevated altar, but my outside altar, I said, you know what? I want them close to the ground, close to the rocks, close to the dirt underneath. And of course, there's always a special place for my garden gnomes with my very Arizona garden going right here. This is more to come. I plan on growing this even further, but in the meantime, Mr. Nomi here protects. So I've spoken about this in other videos, but this is my meditation wall. I have certain crystals here that I use for different purposes. I won't get into that, and they get switched out and recharged. But essentially, I do work here when I'm sort of just meditation. That would be the best way to explain. And this is sort of an altar for that purpose, for me to use this sort of as a space to just sort of zone out and kind of just let messages come through. This is in my bedroom, so you know, when I don't want to be in a sleeping position, but I want to still sort of that meditation aspect of relaxing and sort of slowing my mind down. This is where I can come. This is a space I've created for that purpose. So this is my vanity, my makeup vanity, where I do my makeup and my hair usually. So Yamaya is definitely present here. This is in honor of her, this little jar that I created. Obviously there's the water element and shiny and sparkly things, and that little charm was a gift to me, so much appreciated. But yes, here is where, like I said, color magic comes to life. Glamour magic is used. I speak affirmations. I use this mirror here sometimes as a portal when I am trying to invoke or evoke. Sometimes just to petition, or other times just to sort of connect with the spirit realm. I may sometimes use this mirror for that purpose, usually for the purpose of glamour magic. But like I said, I also believe that there's this other realm, and I believe in a multiverse. So there's another me, and I believe mirrors can be that portal. So when I'm speaking to myself, I'm speaking to all of myself, if that makes any sense. And I love doing that, and I've had great results with that way of thinking. Make sure your space, whatever it is, whatever your altar, this is my makeup, my makeup vanity, so it's gonna have makeup, but make sure it reflects the things you like. I have to go through and take out old makeup and things that no longer I find flattering or I no longer desire, and I fill it with the things that I love, like this lip gloss from Makeup Revolution. This is my beauty bath altar. It's very new. I'm still growing it, so I just have some essential items up there. Those are actually roll-on perfumes, and that would be my representation of Aphrodite, who I'm using in this space. So yeah, this altar is still growing, but very powerful so far. When we're talking altar, sometimes altar spaces are places that you're holding magic, holding spells, spell bottles. That has its own power as well. This is a unique space I carved out for ancestor offerings. Typically water, stones, flowers, organic matter is what I put here. And my space I've had for years, carved out just to Oshun. She walks with me, and I just like to have a space to revere her, to give her honor. My entire home definitely is a space for practicing magic, conducting rituals, anything magically speaking, spiritually speaking, my entire home. But my area here that I have all of my plants, this is sort of the common area. I love this. I come here sometimes and I just commune with their essence, their nature. It's a great way for me to connect with nature. When I can't go outside or when I don't see anything green because I live in a desert, This is a great place for me to talk and to receive messages. I love decorating for seasons. The seasons, I like to sprinkle in a little bit of the pagan holidays as well. I use color magic. I want to bring out the things that are important to me in my home. Also, this kitchen altar, as I showed before, is simple. However, it's just that little space that I carved out where this is the place if I want to put a candle, if I want to set up a little small altar or something like that and just add it. This is where it would go in the kitchen. As I also mentioned, I have yet another altar space here for the Fae, and this is a dedicated space with trinkets. This is where I give them trinkets, and you know what? If I add or replace, I notice things don't go missing in my house. So this is that space where I can give offerings and things of that nature to them. That crystal, and I have a fairy tarot deck, so those cards, I love the meaning on the cards, so I have it permanently here on my altar, just for them. So, yeah. Okay, so if you made it this far into the video, this is my working altar. This is the place where, quite frankly, I do most of my magic. There are some spells and things that I'm currently working on completed, but out, sitting out. You notice I have a couple different things going on. So this is definitely a space dedicated to Hecate. So this is 2 altars in one. I believe she's the goddess of witches. So therefore she sort of presides over where I'm casting and doing magical work when I'm sitting at this altar. I like to have card readings or things like that out just for myself to refer to. So I have a bunch of things here that are practical use. Here's a lot of my witchcraft tools that I use more often. They're going to be right here. So, you know, oils, anointing oils, wands, you know, athames, protection work, offerings to Hecate. That's what that is there. But this is a place that I do majority of my work. For myself, for others, this is where it happens. I am so grateful that I have a dedicated space where I get to do this, where I get to cleanse, and I can come in and when I'm done with this room, I can shut this room off. It's separate from the rest of my home. This is where I do my readings. This is where I perform my services. Head over to leaptaken.com and check that out. When I offer mentoring or anything like that, most likely I'm in this room. This is literally where the magic usually happens. I love this space, and I'm constantly tweaking and making changes. But yeah, this is literally where, as they say, where the magic happens. And I just want to thank you so much for watching, for being, you know, if you made it this far, for seeing sort of all the different spaces, portals, altars that I have in my home and how I work them and how I use them. I want to say they're all separate, but the point is they're all uniquely together to help me do my magic, to live a magical lifestyle. Please don't forget to hit like, subscribe, share, hit the join button if you're interested. And as always, thanks again for watching. Bye.